everyone, welcome to what is a very exciting live stream today. This for me is possibly the most exciting product announcement that I have made since we launched the Color Cube. And that's a big statement, and I'm happy to make it. I want to thank you all for joining, especially those of you who have already been chatting in the comments. Stephanie and Trisha, just want to say thank you for jumping in early. I actually did see a few people here a few days ago, but I'm guessing they logged on then logged off. So you're the first ones in today's chat. I do want to also say hi to some of our members. I can see Caitlin is already here and Melville is already here. And I do have to point out, I love that some of you have been guessing what the product is. And I especially appreciate that Caitlin, who's a member, has been throwing out some guesses that are wrong, even though our members already know what this is. In fact, our members got a link to buy this a few days ago. So some of them, I don't think have it in their hands yet, but it's already in the mail on the way for those of them in Australia and for the Americans coming soon. More on that soon, but there are perks to being a member. They all found out about this, I believe, a week ago. So they all know what it is. So I love that you're just throwing guesses in anyway and that no one has spoiled it. Also, welcome to Nessa. Good to see you here joining us today. And yes, it was me in the chat. I thought I'd jump in while we were just getting set up. I will let you know. So the back end today is telling us that there's a few little signal errors. So if you find that the stream is like slowing down or anything like that, just let us know in the chat. If it hits like a major big issue, we'll stop and restart and we'll just instruct you through that. But hopefully we're all good. Hopefully we can just get through this. I will also let you know that I'm going to try to keep today's stream to an hour as strictly as I can. And I wanted to quickly, while we're waiting for some more people to join, before I jump into this, give you a bit of a little rundown on why I haven't been doing as many live streams. To keep things really, really short for you, I, since September, have had a dislocated jaw. And it might not seem like I have a dislocated jaw because I've learned to work around it, but I've been going through treatment for that. I got an MRI recently. It's actually permanently displaced. And so it might be a lifetime thing that I have to deal with now, but it does mean that 3 hours of talking is a really bad idea. An hour of talking is probably my limit, and even then, I'm going to probably need some heat packs after this. So if you notice that maybe I'm not as expressive as usual or smiling as usual if I'm taking breaks, that's the reason. It's also the reason why we haven't been doing live streams, because even our main videos, while they're half an hour long, we've been filming them in like 10-minute segments because it's unfortunate limitations when you're a YouTuber. Permanent jaw dislocation isn't really the best thing. So that's been interesting, but I just also want to say thank you to everyone who has already, for our members that have already seen this product and have told me what you think. We've had such amazing feedback. I've also sent it out to a few of my other artist friends just here in Australia because we had this stock arrive only a few days ago, and a few of them have already like put this to the test and tried to destroy it, and I'll talk you through that later. But I love that a few of them are here in the chat as well. So hi, I think I saw, did Kat pop in? Yes, Kat is here. So hi Kat Art Illustrations. You've seen her in some of my, I think in fact the last live stream we did together, and some of my other videos. And Cara is here from our members, which is awesome. I did also see, who else did I see that I saw popped in? Oh, Luria's here. Hi, Luria. Thanks for joining us. Luria does her own YouTube channel all about live streaming pros. She was helping us this morning as we we're trying to sort of figure out what was going on. And Liz Gridley is an oil painter here in Melbourne, and she has already tested the cubes. So I'll tell you, not the cubes. I almost blew what the actual new product was, but I accidentally said the cubes instead. It's not the cubes. All right, why don't I show you? Let's not waste any more time. So if you have any questions as we go, I've also got Shane. Shane, do you want to pop in and say hello so you're not this weird voice later?
Hi.
Shane is our narrating voice of wisdom to answer all of your technical questions for the things that I can't remember off the top of my head. and he's joining us today. I also have Natalie helping in the chat. So if you see messages from Sarah Renee Clark in the chat, that is now not me, that's Natalie. So she can also help you with any questions. But the goal here today is to solve a problem that I know we all have. And on my desk at the moment, I have a million different variations of messy things here. I have my color list that came with my Brute Fiona pencils, my smaller ones that came with my alcohol markers, which I don't think that's alcohol marker paper, but anyway. I have a million different charts from every picture that I do of scribbles and tests and colors and things like this from all my old pictures. It's actually kind of sad that I've kept so many of these, but I usually keep them so that we can then remember what pencils I used on different projects. I have my watercolor swatch that I tried to get, and obviously you're probably seeing a bit of a theme here. And then I have the swatch set that I have on my website as a printable, which I know a lot of you use as well, where I have actually gone and printed out. And I know a lot of you have done similar things with either with the swatch stuff that I have on my website or with your own DIY options. The problem here is that all of this is great, but if you're like me, they get mixed up, they end up lost in a drawer, and they end up just everywhere. Faded, messy. I don't even know where the whole set of my Ohuhu ones are, and I probably need to redo them. I think Natalie tried redoing them and I've lost them. There's one. This isn't great. So my team and I have spent the last, I'm going to say 6 months, maybe 5 months, trying to solve this problem and find a better way. And today I want to introduce you to Swatchdex. This is basically like a DIY fan deck. Let me get one that I've opened. This is your own fan deck, like the wonderful Pantone fan decks you get, or the paint chart swatches that you get, all the different ones you get in the shop, but you get to make your own with your own supplies. So it is a nice compact thing. It's got a beautiful bolt here, and you can swatch this with anything that you have. I've got some basic lines that you can use any direction, and I'll show you some different examples in a moment. There's an instruction panel on the back of the front that shows you some different examples of how you can do it. But this is intended to be something that you can use in whatever way you want. So whether you want to use each of these for one color, break them up into a few colors, go double-sided, the backs are completely blank so you can design them however you want. And we have tested these with more supplies than you can imagine. So let me show you some of our experimenting that we did on the prototype. So this one I've got in my hands is our original prototype that we got. The paper on this, I mean, if you have bought any of my other products, you know how much paper matters to me. And the paper that we've used in Vibrant Wilds is a lot of people saying the best paper they've ever found in a coloring book. This is that same quality paper, but this is 400 GSM. That means that pretty much nothing can go through it. And when I say nothing, I mean that we have tested this. I have a better one, but let's start here. Oh, hang on, we changed cameras. On 10 layers of alcohol marker. Let me get you my other swatch that I've already done with the alcohol marker. So here is an example of one way that you could do it, where you can write on the top and do your swatches. This layer here, this R6, is 10 layers of this marker. And there is nothing on the back. Now, even alcohol marker paper does not do that. And I spoke to Kat this morning, who also has already been testing this, and she works with alcohol markers as one of her main supplies. And she said to me that she used it very heavily, and to the point that the alcohol marker couldn't really absorb any more in the paper, and it still didn't bleed through to the back. So maybe today we can see just how many layers we can push it, just for fun. But 10 layers, I mean, if you're doing more than 10 layers of alcohol marker on a swatch, you're probably just wasting your marker at that point. We also have tried watercolor, because that's the other end of the spectrum. Alcohol marker is something that bleeds through everything, and watercolor is something that warps everything. Here is my absolutely dosed in water to the point that it's bleeding everywhere page, and I don't know if you can see that basically hasn't warped at all. Now, again, I've had some people putting this to the test. So Kat's been putting it to the test with her watercolors, and Liz, who I mentioned earlier, has already tested this with gesso and oil paints. And it was a tiny bit of warping, but then it flattens out again really, really well, even with heavy gesso and oil paints. So this thing is designed to handle whatever you throw at it. And again, I've got stuff on the back of this one. I'll show you some today quickly. We can add a lot of moisture and it can handle it. It can handle anything you throw at it is basically the goal of this product. So let me show you some examples. It is very, very heavy duty, 400 GSM. Here's some where I've done top down, and in this one, you can see I've written the words underneath it. This one I've written on top of it. Here I've got some other examples of, you could use it for gradient ideas. So I've got one color on the left, one color on the right, and showing the different ways you can do it. That were just my test for our photos. little hack to see that our photos weren't actually whole pages. I was trying to be quick. This is a watercolor one that I've done here, just again to see, like, at the most it warps a tiny bit when you're doing it, but that's already completely flat. And once you put it back in here, you can see that's like not really marked at all. Someone, actually one of our members, Mel, suggested washi tape. This could be really fun as like a washi tape book. So that, I didn't follow the lines at all. And I mean, I've got 8 bits of washi on there, but if I had to move them along a bit, probably could fit 9. So that could be a really fun Swatchdex full of washi tape. In this case, I just folded them over to the back, but if you wanted to be double-sided, you could also just trim them neatly. I mean, there's options there as well. I'd love to hear in the comments some of your other suggestions for things you could use this for. The other thing you'll notice is that my pencils, I've done this direction, whereas, in fact, I think I did, oh no, here's another one. This set of pencils, I did this direction. So you can choose. You can choose which way you want it. And in this case, I've also created the different values going light to dark to light. So you can also do that, and you can try some different ways of breaking up your colors, because just like we did with the color cube cards, this allows you to take this right up to the edge on whatever you're working on. Because we all know, and the whole reason that we have this problem is because if you grab a marker, this cap is not the color of the marker. They lie all the time, especially alcohol markers and water-based markers. Pencils, the good brands have managed to match pretty well, but most of the cheap brands are not. So this solves that problem, but it's a lot more compact than this big mess. So this is the old way, this is the new way. So please ask your questions. I don't know, Shane, if there's any questions or if I should move on to...
I have a couple of questions.
But wait, there's more. All right, let's get to some questions.
All right, question. Does the Swatchdex come in black? Please say yes.
Oh, do you know, a few days ago, we had this exact same train of thought, and I was talking with my Melbourne art friends, and we said, you know what? We should bring out black. We don't have black now, but it is absolutely on our plans for maybe in the future. Realistically, we'll probably be looking at next year, but it is something that as we see, like, this is a brand new product for us. This is, I don't even know what to expect in terms of how everyone's going to use it, what people want out of it. And so this is very much us figuring this out as well. We've tried and we've got lots of feedback to get to this stage, but from here, who knows where this could go? And I think black is the next option. We've already spoken to our manufacturer, and Shane actually visited them and got a massive thing of paper samples, including some black, so we already confidently know that we've got options for black, that we can even print the guidelines on that, so you can use it for like your metallic watercolors or your pencils or anything like that as well. So I wouldn't say coming soon, I would say it's on the roadmap.
Okay, so what kind of paper is it? How many strips are there, and how many spots are there on each strip? These
are great questions, and in thinking of the frequently asked questions, I wrote a list and I did some calculations for you. So let's see, there are 24 strips. So there are 24 different, that's not including the cover, 24 pages strips. The back one is different. It is just like a little notes thing that you can use. So it's up to you whether you want to turn that into something or just use it to make some notes about whatever you've got. The cover itself is also the same paper. So we just kept it a really simple design so that you could either color this in whatever you're doing in the book, or honestly, you could just like chuck some gesso or something over the top or some paint pens and completely change the design of this. I didn't want to leave it completely blank because I know for some people just blank is intimidating, but please feel free to do whatever you want with those covers. So there are 24 strips and each one has 6 spaces for the different colors. And obviously from there you can, sorry, I shouldn't say obviously, it's not obvious. Let's talk it through. From there you can also make more spaces by breaking them up. So this example I've got here was like, one of the examples is that you could actually draw a line down the middle and therefore get 2 colors out of each spot instead of just the one. So doing the maths on that, if you were to use 1 color per box like I've done here, you would get 144 colors in one Swatchdex. If you then decided to put 2 to a page or 2 to a box, or if you decided to draw your own guidelines and do it on the back as well, that would double that. So then that's 288 colors on a page. If you did both, if you have a big set and you don't want to use multiple Swatchdex for a set of like 500 pencils, you could split them in half and do them front and back, and you'd fit 576 colors on one of these decks. So you can actually fit quite a lot on here, depending on how you choose to use it. Next question. Nope, Shane's not ready for me with the next question.
There's so many comments on.
All right, give me 1 minute to just come up. Shane, jump in. I want to read your comments too. It's killing me just sitting here like I need to talk to you, but I also want to read your comments.
I think that there is a lot of requests for like different colour Swatchdexes. Is that what you call it? Swatchdexes?
Not Swatchdexes. Let's go plural. Swatchdex. It's 1 Swatchdex, 2 Swatchdex.
Or decks.
Or just the decks, you know, if you're trying to be cool. Get your decks.
Different colours like grey and tone colours and things like that. So
these are great ideas. So please definitely send those in. I honestly didn't expect so many people to instantly want the other things, but I think it's something we're going to have to look at. Like, again, I don't know if we could physically manufacture them this year, but we'll put it on our list of things that we want to put as like our next big thing. So
I think also the paper type, there was a request of whether it was cotton or not. What kind of paper?
So this the specifics of the paper I'm not entirely sure, but I will say this isn't cotton. But again, if that is a big request, we do have some cotton samples, so we may be able to do a cotton range in the future as like a special extra.
When's it available?
When's it available? That is a great question. So in Australia, it's available right now. In America and in the US, sorry, that's just referring to our centres. So maybe Shane can give us a bit more rundown on the specifics of the centres. But for the US and the UK centres, they're about 2 weeks away from hitting our warehouse, our distribution centre. So they will be here very soon. This isn't a pre-order. It's pretty much kind of available now, except that we do have limited stock because I didn't know how popular they would be. So I genuinely don't know if you order in like 3 weeks, if we'll have plenty or we'll have none. This is completely unknown to us, completely new, which is very exciting for us as well. But Shane, do you want to just give us, while I look at some other comments, a rundown of some of the countries that fall into those categories of where it's available?
Sure. So in Australia, it's available now, and that's for people who are located in Australia, New Zealand and Canada. So they all come from Australia and they're available now. If you're in the UK or Europe, they'll come from our UK warehouse. And if you're in the United States, they'll come from our US warehouse. And they're actually only about 4 days from arriving in the country. But we add some extra time on there because we try to sort of take into account getting to the warehouse and unpacking and things like that. So available now in Australia, everywhere else, very, very close.
Yes. But before you jump ahead and go and order a bunch of these, wait, because there's more. Hang on. Someone else has just commented that apparently your voice is a little bit hard to hear, Shane. So we'll just, and can we repeat the question before answering the question? That's a good point. That's for me, I think. So, all right. What price? Okay, we'll talk about prices in a second. Let me get you to the... Well, actually, I do have the price for this right off the bat. So one of these in the US is $9.95. In Australia, in Australian dollars, it's just under $16. And in British pounds, it's just under $10 as well. We've tried to make it as affordable as possible because we know right now everyone's going through a bit of hard stuff. And we want to make sure that if you're wanting more than one, you can buy more than one, which we'll come to. Shane, did you have something to add?
So in the US, Australia and UK, there's also a free shipping option. So that price includes shipping if you select it on checkout. And for everywhere else, we've tried to make it as affordable as we can.
Yeah. So we always try and make things as affordable as we can. Like we said, there are free shipping options available in some of those locations as well. So the US, Australia, and UK specifically, we have a free shipping option available. For other places, we sort of try and share as much of the cost as we can to try and keep it affordable. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shane, I believe in Europe we've also adjusted our system a bit better to help people with those customs issues that a lot of people have. Maybe you can run us through that.
Yeah, so in most European locations, the sales tax and customs and duties and everything are now on the checkout page. So we've heard people's feedback in the past about the government sort of charging customs when it gets to your country. You'll know all those charges are up front, so you'll be able to make a better decision and not have any nasty surprises later on.
There you go. Now, before I go into my next thing, I do want to say one more thing because you might not be asking it yet, but I'm sure as soon as you get it, it's going to be your first question. Because it's the first question that a few of my friends asked me of like, can I pull it apart? Because naturally there's the question of swatching these out, is it easier with it attached? And if you're using something like watercolor, you're gonna have to wait for it to dry before you close it, stuff like that. So it is a very valid question. And these are not intended to come apart as an initial statement on that. So if you're someone who really wants to figure that out, you can do it. It's not something that we've designed it to do. However, and please take this with a big invisible disclaimer in front of my face, try at your own risk. I did this morning try to unscrew one and it was easier than I expected. I've also had Di from Aussie Crafter over in Australia as well. She has also pulled one apart successfully and didn't have any issues. And Liz Gridley, our oil painter friend here, she pulled hers apart and laid the whole thing out to do the gesso. And she said the only bit of advice she had was that you shouldn't gesso near the actual stud just to help it glide a bit better. But everyone who tried it said that it worked really well. We did try it originally on our prototype and we couldn't unscrew it. So I don't know if that's that the prototype is different to the others. I don't know if all of them will be easy to unscrew or whether some people might have trouble. That's something it's not designed to do. But if it is something you decide to do for yourself, I'm telling you it's not impossible, is what I'm saying. It is a bit fiddly to get the screw back in. That's the one thing that I found when I pulled it apart. But I wouldn't rely on being able to pull it apart and reorder. But there is a possibility that, like, if you really make a mistake or you get things in the wrong order, you might have an option there
So
with
there's
caution.
a question on that as to whether you can change the amount of cards in the deck. So if you wanted to take some out or add more.
So that's where you're going to find trouble because even though you cannot... In fact, let me try and unscrew one just to show you exactly what we're talking about. Again, this is not what they are designed to do. But you kind of need to, if you are going to do it, hold the back, unscrew the front. If I picked the one that I already unscrewed earlier, it would be loose. I don't know if this one is the right. I did just do it with my fingernail earlier. This one feels a bit tighter though, so it might not work. Like you shouldn't need to get anything too fancy. I don't think that one's moving like I thought. Maybe, hey Will, do you want to unscrew one in the background and give it to me rather than be sitting? I mean, in saying that, this shows you, I guess, what you have to consider. Oh, no, I think this is coming undone. Yeah, okay. There we go. I did. I loosened it. So just my fingernail. Do you want to give me a top camera on this? Just didn't need a whole lot, but I really just put my finger in the groove there if you've got nails and twisted it. I did try it earlier with a ruler, so it's starting to loosen. So let me show you what it is so you can understand what you're up against.
So piece of advice from Liz, she doesn't recommend immediately dropping the screw on your grey carpet after taking it apart.
Yeah, this screw's tiny, I've discovered. There you can see just how tiny that screw is. So it is very much, and then here is the base. So this is designed to a specific height. So if you're going to pull some out, I am going to pull this one out. It's going to end up very loose. You can see there how that screw, let me actually, whoop, there it goes. So we'll put this back together later. So you can pull them apart if you really want to. Again, it's not really designed for that, but this is the screw system. So it is designed to the specific height of the Swatchdex. So if you're going to take some out, I mean, if you're using really like heavy mediums, and you need the extra space, you could potentially take a page out to compensate. If you find that this is now getting too tight because of all the stuff you've packed in, you could potentially take a page out. It's pretty, like, can you give me a front camera for a sec? That's the prototype. This is how smooth it is. I was actually trying to learn a nice cool flip, but I can't because it's just loose enough that they actually move really easily. So I think that's up to you. I don't, there are reasons that you might undo it to make it easier.
2 more questions.
Yeah.
Firstly, can you make them two-sided? And secondly, can you take the pin out and put it on like a giant ring?
I mean, once you've taken the pin out, go for it. Like, I'm not offended if you destroy this and do something else with it, because what you end up with here is a very clean hole through all the paper. And if you then got a ring, I don't know if you can give me a top camera there again, Shane. You could then turn this into a ring thing if you want, if you prefer to then flip them. That's not something, again, that we offer, but I mean, I'm all for people making this work however they want it to work. I don't want to put you in a box here, except in a moment. I might put this in a box. So you've got options. The double-sided, again, like, you can make it double-sided if you want. The back is blank, but it's just like, they're pretty thick, so you can actually handle both. You'll just have to rule your own lines. We left the backs blank to try and give you more options. And so that's really all up to you, how you want to use it. Is there any more questions, or should I? There probably is. There's probably a ton of questions. But
I have a question.
Yes.
What's behind that brown box beside you?
That's a good question. I want to show you. Okay, so I know that for a lot of people, one of these is not nearly going to be enough for your extensive collection. It might be enough for one set of pencils. So we're leveling up. Now, we looked at the fact of, like, people are going to want to buy more than one of these, which means maybe we should offer some kind of bundle. And then thinking that through, it was like, well, how can we make that even more exciting? And I think the most exciting thing about this is actually going to be the price when you find it out. But let's get back to that in a moment. So let me introduce to you the Swatchdex Studio. So I don't know if on the top camera we can see the beautiful little glossy shine that we put all this effort into getting. Oh, there it is, you can. Except that everything's blurry. Let's put this away. We might need to refocus our top camera again. That's all right. We've got a side angle. There we go. So we've got the same design, but in a really cool gloss that I'm way too proud of. But this is not just a box. Just like the color cubes, we like to go all in and make sure the box itself is part of the experience. So this is not just a box, and let me turn to our front camera here. This is a drawer system. So we have put effort into making this smooth sliding. It is a wooden box, so it will last. It is very, very sturdy, and you can actually use this to permanently display. And if you buy this, it comes with the 4 Swatchdex already inside of it. So this is the bulk buying option, and the drawer's kind of a free throw-in. The cool thing about this, as I'm sure you can already imagine, is that you don't need to stop at one. If you get more, you can stack them. Now, we don't have a way that we are attaching them for you. Again, that's up to you, because I know even with the markers that I have, For some of them, I want them stacked high. Some of them, I want them stacked staggered. But let me show you what I've done. So here we have my 4 Swatchdex Studios that I have used a double-sided tape to attach together, so they're all nice and even. But basically they just stack because they're wood, they're very sturdy. And then, actually I'll put this one off because it's not attached. You have a full drawer system ready to go. And again, if you don't want to use this for your Swatchdex, you can easily use this for other stuff. Like there's no rules on this. You don't have to use it for this. You can pull the foam out and use it for anything. But these all sit very nicely inside. We've got the foam in here to keep them protected. They're easy to pull in and out. And because they're in your drawer, it's going to help a little bit with light fastness for your different supplies so that hopefully the colours of your swatches stay more true to the colour that you're going to get. You don't have to redo your big swatch chart every year or anything like that. This is intended to keep them all nice and snug and keep the colours good and look pretty on your shelf. And again, if you want to decorate this box, if you want to put labels on it, the customization is totally up to you. I designed it blank front so that you can create whatever drawers that you want. And then if we have a look at the inside, I'll pull this out so you can see it properly. We've also given it plenty of space here so that you can label on the front or even on the, probably not on the foam, but we gave you a nice thick edge here so that you can actually write on the drawer top. If you don't want it on the drawer front, you could actually write on here what your different swatches are, just to help you a little bit more in staying organized. So pop that back in our drawers. We spent ages with the prototype just playing because it's very satisfying. Being the wood makes a big difference. It can also handle the weight. The only thing I'd say is if you're putting weight on the top one, don't put weight only in the middle. Put weight on the sides, because if you do put weight only in the middle, it will stop it closing. But as long as the weight is on the sides like this, I haven't actually tested how high we can stack them. So it'd be interesting to see how high we could go. That might be a challenge for another day because that's a lot more boxes to open. The first thing I did when these arrived was steal these 5 out, and Shane's like, how many are you taking? And I was like, probably more than this, but we want to save some for you guys as well. So this is all very exciting. I do need to, while the questions keep coming in, I should actually show you, because I did say it could handle the marker paper. I said it could handle watercolors, but like, you're just taking my word for it. We need to like hit this thing. Let me just ditch this system.
Lisa has mentioned that it's in the SRC teal colour.
It is! This is my favourite colour. I can't believe we haven't launched a product in this colour yet.
I like the name of it, SRC teal.
SRC teal. Yeah, very much is the SRC teal. Now it's the Swatchdex teal. All right. I'm just thinking, should I use my opened ones here? Since they're just... Like, that is a new one. Where's one that I've already been playing with? In fact, the prototype. I won't use the prototype because then there's like no guarantee that that's what you get. So let me get one of the ones that I've been playing with that is the exact same printing process as what we're giving all of you.
While you're doing that, Emma has asked, or she's said, I'm intrigued how these ideas start.
Honestly, a lot of it is from just listening to you as the audience and looking at what you do and looking at the kind of problems that people are trying to solve. I think this is something that I like to think we do well, in that we, like, this to me feels like an obvious product. It feels like something that should already exist, and it's kind of crazy that it doesn't. And so we made it. That's kind of all there is to it. I'm trying to find, let's use this page. What I might do, just because, not because I don't trust my swatching, but because I don't want to go off the edge here, I'm just going to put something under this, like a piece of paper. Oops. Just so that I don't put marker all over the white bench here, because I've been really bad at doing that lately. All right, so I've got, what have I got? My hoo-hoos, they should be pretty heavy, I think. This is actually marker paper I've put underneath. So let me just show you what we're dealing with. So if that's 1 layer, 4 layers, ten layers. Okay, so this is on Express It, which is my favorite marker paper. 10 layers goes through to the back, All of them show a little bit, but this is the best paper for blending, okay? So now we have a point of comparison. So I'm actually just gonna go straight to the 10 layers and not mess around here. And then we'll see how far we can actually get. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is one of those things of like I secretly say a little prayer to make sure that it doesn't go through because that would be really embarrassing on the live, and it's all good. It doesn't go through, but let's see how far we can push it because I'm curious now. So I'll do beside this. Let's go 1. Count along, everybody. 2, 3. I'm out of the lines. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's starting to like really pull here. Not through yet. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That is like not even drying. Look at that. You can see it slowly evaporating. That's 20 layers of alcohol marker. Oh, and it's just starting to get a little bit of moisture, but not even color. You can't even see that.
So
20.
while you're doing that, is the paper shiny?
I wouldn't call it shiny.
So it's not glossy paper. It's like an uncoated paper.
Yes. It's not, it's okay. If you were to compare it to something, it's more like a mixed media paper than a marker paper, if that makes sense. It doesn't have a shine to it. What am I up to? 25? It's reaching the point now where the marker can't even sit on top of itself anymore. I don't know if you can see clearly that that's just not even drying. It's taken ages to soak in. If anyone's ever using more marker than that on this paper, we need to have a chat because that marker's like not even drying.
I mean, if you want to swatch your markers 35 layers in one box,
you're not going to have any marker left to actually use. If you're swatching a marker that many times, there's going to be no marker left to do art with. So I am very confident in saying it can handle alcohol markers based off the 30 layers that we just did. And there's like the tiniest blip in the back of that now after all of that. It's like changed color. It's gone so much because we did way too many layers because it does get darker as you layer up.
Another question
One is more like the color.
while you're swatching again is whether or not these are shipping to Canada, which I can answer.
Yeah, you answer that.
The answer is yes, because we ship to Canada from Australia. So because our Australian stock is here, if you're in Canada, it will ship out straight away.
I just wanted to highlight here because when I did the 10 layers, then the color doesn't match. Just to show you the color is accurate. You just don't do 10 layers. You just need one layer because that's what you would normally do. Now, what else might bleed through? Let's go some watercolor. I do have water here because if it can handle watercolor, it can handle water-based markers easy, right? So I can do some water-based markers if you want as well, but the watercolor is kind of the ultimate test. I want to show you just how much water I actually put on it, which again is so much more water than you should put on anything, just to show you that it does handle water. All right, let's really load this up. Please don't look at my watercolors in a sense of how I look after my art supplies. It's art. It's supposed to be used and messy and everything. All right. You got a good shot there so we can see? So let's load this up. That is like a lot of color. Now this will warp slightly as we're doing it because that's naturally what happens with any paper. But compared to even some of the best watercolor paper, that's always the case and it will flatten again. So that's a lot of paint. Let's just like literally dose it with water. Just sit the water on top. Look at that. Like,
you just answered one of the questions as to how they go with warping.
Well, let's see. Let me like look at how much water is on that thing. This is like, you shouldn't paint with this much water. Could probably get this back to white with the amount of water on this. Can you get a close up of that? Like, this is puddle central, right? Do we think that's enough to test?
Double it.
Double it? Oh, okay, sure. There's like, this water's never going to dry. Look, I mean, I'm going to have to drip it off to even show you because there's just too much. That's not going to... You shouldn't be using this much water. It's like a dangerous amount of water. I'll give it a minute. Let it sit. Let's see how much we can warp it because that amount of water will even warp really good watercolor paper. So, in fact, let me move that over. Let's just give that one a minute and check in on some comments and answer some more questions and we'll come and we'll see. I probably should have done that like 20 minutes ago so that we could give it a chance to dry properly and see. But that's okay. We'll give it a chance. Is there anything else that we need? Oh, will it fit in a Kallax unit? That's such a good question. Is our shelves in there? No, that's not a Kallax.
We
Will,
have
I have a mission.
Vestas, I'm pretty sure.
Will, I have a mission for you. Could you go into my children's bedrooms and the cube shelving, just see if it fits in that? I do have the width of it, so you can double check, but just because practical testing is great.
I think Natalie's actually put the dimensions in the comments.
Oh, has she? Oh, perfect. I was just gonna... Oh, Kirsten's here. Hi, Kirsten. To fit in your travel art kit. Yeah, okay, so the dimensions are there. They're also on the website. A lot of the questions that you guys ask, if we can't get back to you today, we will try to put them in the FAQ or just catch up. Also, after this live has finished, we're getting feedback from a distance.
So apparently they do fit.
They fit in a IKEA Kallax unit. Modulability is not a word. Modular. Hey, that would actually look really cool. Having, how many would you have to, you'd want to go square. So you'd need to buy 8, just saying. 8 would make it, oh, that would look really cool. Imagine that in the cube shelving and one whole cube would fill with 8 of those. Oh, I actually want to do that now.
Unfortunately, we're already out of stock because Sarah's allocated like 300 of them to...
to myself. I'm going to be good, okay? I am going to not use more than these so that we don't run out for you. Let's take a moment. I'm sure we already have. Let's get the website up for those of you who want to jump in. I will tell you the studio, because I'm sure we've already posted it in the chat, but so that you know, the studio... Oh, here we go. Oh, no, that doesn't have the pricing on it. I'll tell you the pricing. The studio is $30 US. So remembering that one Swatchdex is about $10 US, $9.95. You buy 3 of the individual Swatchdex and you've paid the studio. So you might as well just buy the studio. And then, so that's $50 Australian. I'm rounding up a little bit. It's $49.95 Australian. It's £29.50 pounds. And if you buy 2 or more, because I know many of you will, we also want to knock off a little bit extra. So 2 or more, you save 10% off. 5 or more, if you're someone who just wants to go all out and do your whole collection at once, you get, no, we got that backwards. No, it's not, no, it's 15%. The sign is wrong. Ignore the chart. Wrong. Fail. Who did the slide? Fine.
You get less of a discount the more you buy.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
It's 10% off if you buy 2 or more, but 15%.
15% off. Okay,
15%.
so it wasn't the wrong way around. The 5 was the 15. All right. So 5 plus studios, you get 15% off all of them, not off the extras. So I just know that. And again, this is where... I think for context, I think worldwide we ordered 2,000 of these.
Yes.
That's what's in stock now. I don't know how long they will last because I know that like our members that have bought these have already all bought 2 or 3 each. And we're internally trying to work out what do we think is the maximum that someone would need. And I don't know. My guess is 8, which actually turns out to be the perfect cube. I think if you put that there, based on that being about halfway, I think 8 becomes a giant color cube. No, a giant cube of color. I don't even think of the Kallax thing. That's really cool. So fun fact, our original prototype was actually bigger and we got it and we looked at it and I just went, it feels too big. The original one would not have fit in the IKEA unit. So good thing that we got the prototype and downscaled it a little bit because we want it to look good in your studios as well. It does only come in the teal color at the moment. I don't know if we'll change that in the future, or it might just be up to you to decorate it however you want. The box is wood, but the finish is more like a paper finish. So you should be able to decorate. I haven't tried. You should be able to decorate it with stuff. But again, if you decorate it, please don't then try and return it or anything like that, because it's kind of like, once it's yours, you mess with it how you want, but it's yours. Do you want to see how the watercolor's going? It's like not even dry yet. There's so much water on that. Hang on. Oh, look at all that excess. Okay, so that has warped a little bit. It hasn't, I don't know if you'd call that buckling though. It's literally just, I don't know if you can get it. Oh, that's a pretty good shot. That's our level of warping. Now, this is similar to what Liz said happened when she hit it pretty hard with the gesso and the oil paints. But she also said that once she was done and was able to put it back together, that actually flattened out really easily. It's not much. It's not like the paper's all twisted. It's just that slight bend. So it should actually come back pretty easily. And I mean, I hit this hard. If there are any questions of how much water I can handle, I think that's okay. And hang on, let me show you the back. Oh, okay. That is because I just put it in the stuff, but it hasn't gone through. This is snuck around the edges because we put so much water on it. That there is actually because I just put it down on itself. That's not coming through. The part, this all is all normal. I didn't do a very good job of demonstrating that one. But I think you get the idea. You can make a pretty big mess. It can take it. Kat was joking that she tried to destroy it and failed with all of her supplies. So, yeah. Do we have any other questions that we need to answer? Because I'm probably ready to let you guys just explore and have fun. And I was going to sit here and swatch out a whole set of pencils on these, but then I realized that was a really long thing. And I really don't think I can handle talking for that long today if you missed the note at the start. But if there's anything else you want me to demonstrate, let me know now. Otherwise, we'll let you go, because I think the best way to see this in use is going to be seeing what everyone else does with it. So Australians, it's available now, and we will ship it to you today if you order. Won't arrive today. Australian shipping is not that good. And in America and in the UK, we've put on here late June. It's actually arriving in our warehouse within the next sort of week, but then the processing time and everything. So we're kind of estimating about 2 weeks before we'll be able to ship it out to you. And then obviously there's your shipping times on top of that. So late June's kind of been a bit conservative to try and be safe. Any other questions, Shane?
If you put colour cubes on top of it, would that make it too heavy?
Let me try. It shouldn't be too heavy because it's wood. I would just say don't put one in the middle. I'd put 2 on the sides. Let's have we got some that are full? This one, I think this one's full. My colour cubes are never in order. Oh yeah, that one's full. I reckon you could stack quite a bit actually on this because it's wood. And then if we've got 2 of them on there, ooh, that does stop the draw a little bit. So you might have to play around with, if you are putting stuff on top, keep it spread out evenly. It still closes, it just, there's a tiny, I don't know if you can see, because it naturally is a long object. It's not too bad. But yeah, you kind of just want to keep, if you are piling stuff up on top of it other than other units, you want to just keep stuff towards the edge because that's just how boxes work. But that looks pretty, especially if you go the teal sides. Wait, this is the same. No, is this the same one? I'm confused. There we go. 1 and 2, look at that. Oh, I should have made it like the perfect width for the cubes. That would have just been just little chef's kiss moment, but that's okay. You just have to give them... Now I'm just planning my own studio setup here is what I'm doing. But no, it can handle the weight. I was actually thinking I should try standing on one and see if it can handle human weight, but I also don't want to encourage people to be standing on their art supplies, so I might just test that for fun one day, just to see how much weight the wood can handle. Oh, yes. All right, I'm just having a skim of the questions. If there's anything else, Shane, please jump in. There are so many comments here. I'm going to have to catch up later on a lot of your comments. I will also say, once we close the live stream, all the live comments kind of disappear into this little section that people have to go to. So if you can, please leave your thoughts on the main, like on the replay as well in the comments, because then when people come and see the video, they'll see your ideas. They'll see all the suggestions you have. We'll pop the link there as well for anyone who couldn't make this live. So, any other questions? Could you sit your monitor on top of the boxes? Again, that's a weight thing. I feel like you're I feel like I could handle a lot, but I don't want to make any commitments to that kind of stuff. So
how would it go with water-based markers?
I mean, water-based markers, for context, are only going to be better than the watercolor. But I can do one if you just want to see. I have the, what are these? The Tombow water-based, just because we should. Whoop, I've just dipped that in the watercolor that's still drying on this other paper. But this is a perfect example of why we need this system in the first place. Look at that color against the marker. That you can't even tell on the camera. This is like reddish and it's just come out like blue. It might be because these markers are a bit old, actually, in fairness. Let me hit these really, like, again, more than you probably should, because at a certain point you just can't even see the color anymore if you do too many layers. And nothing. So yes, it can handle water-based markers. Pretty much my theory is if it can handle watercolor paint and it can handle alcohol markers, it should be able to handle pretty much anything. Be curious if anyone finds anything it can't handle. I think that's kind of everything. Let's pop the website in the comments again. I'm sure we have many times. Kat has said she dropped a straight Copic ink on it. Nothing came through. She already has one of these. Someone said, what's the point of putting 10 or 15 layers on this swatch? Would I ever do this in a coloring book? No, I was just trying to show you that it can handle it. You shouldn't. Please don't put 10 layers of your markers on your swatch. You're just wasting your markers for no reason. And if anything...
But you can. Question that we have is,
yes,
if we do run out of stock, how long before
that's a really
we
good
get
question.
them again?
Shane, is that something you can help answer? Because it's a bit of a no committing to specific things because we can't control it. So give us your best estimate.
So normally from when we decide to manufacture another run, it's about 2 months. So we sort of are going to decide in the next sort of week or so whether we're going to do another run of this, because it is a bit unknown with a new product, whether lots of people want it or nobody wants it. So yeah, about 2 months.
Yeah. There is a question here. I think it's a valid question. It's something I've already talked about too. If you go and buy these and then we're iterating this product, is it then going to change so it doesn't match? So let me make a commitment now that even down to this color, even if we bring out other colors, we'll keep bringing out this color because it's the main color. And I've even talked about
SRC teal.
Of course, I can't get rid of the teal. But like I've even talked about like you know, if this color were to change or if the logo on the top were to change, those things can change, but I won't be changing the color or the ribbon or the size because I want to respect the people that are trying to even support us in getting in early on this thing and not have your system not match. So that's something that, like, as much as is feasible, I will make that commitment that we're not going to suddenly change the width of it or anything like that. We're going to be consistent so that if we bring out more, it will only be better for your collection, and it might only be these that change. We're not going to go, or maybe not even change, we'll just bring out a bigger range of them. We're not going to go changing the whole system so that you have to start over. That's something I think we can, like, look, maybe in 5 years we might have a different discussion, but we have no plans for now to change any of this so that you've got time to get them all.
Apparently you need to bring out a clothing line that's in SRC teal.
I mean, I always look in the shops for clothing that is in SRC teal, but I don't think you want me designing clothes. Nah. Maybe. All right. I think I think we're done. Is there any other questions that are urgent? Otherwise, what we'll do is I'll stay in the chat for a bit, and if you have more questions, I'll just sit here and I'll answer them. But I hope you guys like this. I'm really excited now to finally have this out in the world. It's been it's been so hard keeping this secret. And on that, this is not the only big product that we're releasing this year. There are other things that we're working on, and I'm just like inside, like, oh, I can't wait to show you everything. So thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, Shane, for chiming in with all the questions and comments.
You're welcome.
We said an hour. It's been an hour. And let us know if you have any more ideas or suggestions or comments or anything else. And I'm going to just keep talking until the screen goes blank, and that's a really silly way to end a stream, but that's okay. Bye.